Hi friends, I'm Felicia. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing my September wrap up. I got a haircut today, so I have to film while my hair still looks good. So I read 6 books in September, so that was pretty cool. It was kind of a busy month for me. On the 11th I had my wisdom teeth out, all of them. So that was really fun, and no, it actually went really good, and I didn't, do anything David after dentist worthy at all. I was pretty lucid after I was coming out of it, so that was cool, I guess. My coworkers were disappointed. I was really tired the next few days after that, so I didn't really get reading done. And then I started up choir practice again and our Bible study every week. So choir practice is every week and Bible studies every week. So it was just a crazy month. All good stuff though. But yeah, so I only read 6 books, but that's good. I'm happy with that. That's what I used to read like a few months ago. That's what I used to read, so I'm fine with that. At the beginning of the month, I did the book buddy-a-thon, and my buddy was Patty, and so that was a lot of fun. The first book that I read for that was Where'd You Go, Bernadette, and that is by Maria Semple. I listened to that on audio, and the actress that plays Liz on Gilmore Girls was the narrator, and she was perfect. And I absolutely loved it. I gave it 5 stars, and that was the book that I chose for a book that my buddy gave 5 stars. So me and Patty are on the same page there. It was just a great story. I loved the characters. I loved the way it was narrated. It was told mostly as emails and such back and forth, and then the last third of the book is just like kind of regular narrator. I just loved it. It was just so quirky and heartwarming. I just love the characters, and they were so wonderful. So if you like character driven stories, then you will probably like this one, I think. Hopefully. I liked it, so Next book that this was the book that we buddy read together, and we buddy read Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. Also gave that one 5 stars. I just loved it. It's a post-apocalyptic setting. It has this feeling about it that it doesn't feel like scary or anything. It feels realistic. Yeah, once again, I liked the characters. My only complaint is that it felt like there were quite a few character point of views that it went between, and so I felt like we could have just used just like a bit more from each character, that the book could have been longer. I think it was around between 300 and 350 pages, and I felt like it could have easily been 450 pages, and then we could have gotten more character development out of it, or she could have cut one of the narrators, although I don't know which one, or one of the point of views, because they were all so good. I love them all, so I don't know. It just should have been longer, I think. But I loved the story and just the way that she made the world. 5 stars. I loved it. I would highly recommend it. The next book that I read, kind of for the book buddy-a-thon and kind of otherwise, it was The Heart of Betrayal by Mary E. Pearson. This was a book that I chose to read because I wanted to, and I was also already reading it, and I was doing it as a buddy read with my dear friend Tiffany from The Crafty Home. Oh my goodness, I loved it. Oh my goodness, another 5-star read. Mary E. Pearson is becoming just an auto-buy author for me. It just had so many feelings. I wasn't reading through this as quickly as I wanted to, and so I finished it after the book buddy-a-thon, so maybe I should say that. I did finished it after. And I wasn't getting through it as fast as I wanted, so I actually went to a local coffee shop, and I just got a chai latte, and I parked myself on a comfy chair for the evening, and I got to the last, I think, couple chapters, and then I was like, no, this is getting too stressful for me now. So then I went home and I finished it because I didn't want to have all of my emotions in public. So I could just feel them coming. And yes, I'm glad that I finished it at home because I was just like, oh my word, you guys. To me, this was just as good as the first book. And I'm just like, I need the second book now. Or the third book now. I need it now. Like, give it to me now. Okay, please. Thanks. So yeah, this book was awesome. Awesome, awesome. Loved it. Yeah, so that's all the things kind of from my TBR for the Book Buddy-a-thon. So then the next book that I read was, or it was actually the first book that I read in the month. And that was Royal Wedding by Meg Cabot. That's the final book in the Princess Diaries series. That's what they call it. I gave that 3.5 stars. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed seeing them as adults and being done with the immatureness of, 18, it's like 16, 17-year-old Mia. And all of that was done. I enjoyed seeing kind of where everyone went. The book is called Royal Wedding, and like I hope this is not going to be spoilers. Maybe what I'm about to say, I don't know. It's called Royal Wedding, but most of the book doesn't actually have to do with the wedding, so I found that disappointing. I wanted to follow that storyline. Okay, I know I said that. We're kind of done with the immatureness of Mia, but she's still really selfish and doesn't care what other people tell her to do, and she's just going to do what she wants, even though that causes problems. Like, just maybe listen to what other people are saying, because the main conflict of this book didn't have to happen at all. It did not have to happen if Mia had just been patient and done what other people told her, then it would have been fine. But whatever. She just had to do what she wanted. So that was annoying. So maybe she's still immature, but not like teenager immature. I don't know. Whatever. But it was like major wish fulfillment, Royal Wedding. So I'll just leave that up to your interpretation if you haven't read it. Yeah. I don't know. I was glad that I read it. But I'm also glad to kind of be done with that series for a while. I feel like Meg Cabot will write more books set in that world now that it's like adults. Because she definitely left it open for that to happen. So yeah, we'll see if in the next year or two we get another Princess Diaries book. Then the next book that I read outside of the Book Buddy-a-thon was At the Water's Edge by Sarah Gruen. I listened to that on audio, and I also got it as a book for review. And if I hadn't done that, I probably wouldn't have finished it. I gave it 2.5 stars. It was really rough at the beginning. The story is about this couple and their good friend. They are socialites in New York or something in World War II. Both the husband and the best friend, they have been denied from the army, and so they're kind of under a lot of pressure, and they're kind of pariahs. People make fun of them because they weren't man enough to be in the army, and so they're just feeling a lot of pressure from that, and so they decide that they are going to go to Scotland to find the Loch Ness Monster, a way for them to regain their manliness, I suppose. The husband's father, he had been looking for the monster before, like, decades ago. And so his son, he's like, yeah, we're gonna go and we're gonna find it. We're gonna prove my dad right, and everyone thinks he's crazy, and then he'll think better of me and whatever. And we're rich, so we can do this. And so they go to Scotland. The characters are just like terrible, and so I didn't like them, and like they were just very boring to me, just like your stereotypical rich socialites that don't think of the world outside of themselves. And then they get to Scotland, and it kind of goes on from there. It actually doesn't have much to do with them looking for the Loch Ness Monster. It has more to do with the relationships between these characters, and the characters that they meet. The characters that they meet in Scotland were more interesting than the main characters. The plot did get interesting in the second half. Yeah, that's why I only gave it like 2.5. Otherwise I would have given it like 1. If it hadn't gotten better. Yeah, I did like how the story ended up. It was a good ending. It did make up for the first half. I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't in the mood. I don't know. Those were my very succinct thoughts about At the Water's Edge by Sarah Gruen. And then the last book that I read was another library book that I had to bring back, and that was Hyperbole and a Half by Ali Brosh. And I've been waiting to read that book forever. I was reading her blog way back before she had a book deal, and I just loved it. It was hilarious. So I was so excited to read this book because it was just equally as hilarious. Even though I had read some of the stories, the ones that were on her blog, I had read them before the book was published. It's been several years since I read them, and so they were just as funny to me now. Yeah, the book was hilarious. I love her stories and her self-deprecating sense of humor, and just her stories about her dogs just crack me up. Like, I just couldn't stop laughing sometimes because it was so funny. And it's also like, it covers kind of darker themes too, and her reflections, I suppose, on her journey through depression. It was hilarious and serious, and as someone that has gone through depression myself, depression and anxiety, I can assure you that her metaphors, they are absolutely correct. Yeah, just so accurate portrayal about what depression can feel like. I experienced it very similarly to her. For me, it was a breath of fresh air just to read someone's honesty about their struggle with that, and yeah, that whole situation. More succinct thoughts from Felicia. Yeah, I gave that 5 stars because I loved it. It was hilarious. And it's like a mix of text and comics, and so it's very unique, and just her horrible drawings in paint, it's just amazing. Like, I'm actually in awe of her skill to actually draw things that look the same every time in paint. So it's very good. Yeah. So that was all the books that I read in September. 6 whole books. And this video is probably still going to be so long. But thanks for watching anyway. If you want to know more of my thoughts, leave a comment down below. If you have read any of these books, or if they are on your TBR, I would love to know your thoughts as well. And I thank you for watching, and I will see you again soon in another video. Bye.